What is up, everyone? This is round 4 of Combat Steps Arcane Series number 1, the first online cEDH tournament of 2024. My name is Lauren, also known as mtg_hotdog. I am a cEDH tournament grinder. I am with Eminence. I have a podcast called Punt Pals where I talk about losing in Magic all the time, and I am joined by my illustrious co-host, Deck Save.
It's a pleasure to join here today, as well as my buddy Toothless, as he continues to climb across my desk. We want to thank everybody for coming out to the stream today and really being able to watch the first ever of this tournament series. And we've seen a lot of familiar names from throughout the other tournament scenes come into here and try to claim the first prestigious titles. We've seen a lot of grinding games today between Hot Dog and Cop Cop presenting earlier. So can't wait to hop in here and see some more.
Yes, Captain Wellsport, with the way the way the points distribution is, I think 2 and 2. I think there will be 1, 2, and 2 10-pointer. If depending if everything goes right, that can still make it into top 4. It is wide open. If you look at the pairings, you're looking at the bracket. Top 16. Anyone in top 16 has a chance to make it into top 4. So this is almost a pseudo top 16 in a way. You're fighting for that final spot. And again, I think just looking at the pairings, doing a little bit of napkin math, this is a wide open tournament still. It is nobody's game to lose, or it's nobody's game to not lose or win. I don't know where I'm going with that thought.
You're good. We're going to present to you some fantastic game actions here between Najeela, Thrasios Devish, Derevi, and Timna Krom, a fabulous blue farm pairing deck. We got a very controlled heavy pod coming up here.
I don't know what blue farm is.
Old McDonald had a farm. Let us call it Timna Krom, and I refer to it as blue farm because I always think about the plentiful creatures, because usually blue farm is farm is agriculture and usually very creature based. So because of all the value creatures that you're able to slam down there, like Drannith Magistrate, Opposition Agent, Dothy Voidwalker, now the new Dauntless Dismantler, of which I don't think we have seen yet today. Just being able to slam down on the board, slow down the rest of the table, really drives the game into their favor.
Gotcha. I've never heard it called blue farm. I've won tournaments on Timna Krom, but never blue farms. That's interesting.
Mm-hmm. I think we've re-corrected course from calling it blue farm. That happened about halfway through last year, if I recall correctly. I remember about a year ago or 2 years ago, they're like, oh yes, we were playing farm decks, but now blue farm, and now we're back to calling it Timna Krom. Very beginner player friendly. So very excited to delve into there. Looks like we're trying to still obtain opening hands here. How many tournaments?
Priscilla, you get it, Priscilla.
How many tournaments have you participated in?
Have I?
Yeah.
On which side, playing or casting?
Playing.
Oh, geez, probably, including local tournaments, probably 30 to 40.
Wow. Hey, there we go. You got some experience on your side.
Yeah, I've played a lot, casted a few. It's good. I like Magic. Magic's fun.
Hell yeah. No, I've only done 2 cEDH tournaments myself. A lot of local play, a lot of heavy local play, and a control heavy pod. But I do have a positive win record in cEDH tournaments. So I'm going to leave it at that.
Nice. Yeah. I'm partial to my girl Dihada. I had 2 top 16 runs on Dihada last summer. Have been on a little bit of a cold streak since, but it's been fun. Priscilla is in the chat right now. I got to play with her at Vegas. Got to see Dihada. Very fun deck. But we are kicking off Najeela with the Mana Confluence Jeweled Lotus. One of the best starts that deck can have if you are trying to win with your Najeela early on. You're going to accrue a lot of value.
And to get on top of that, the exalted trigger that's coming from Noble Hierarch, you may not think it matters a whole lot, but that one additional point of damage that comes in changes a lot of Nas players' game plan from taking 5 life after one swing and really ramps up there.
Yeah, I like seeing that. I mean, very clear board development. I'm wondering if we're going to see a Ristic study now. We got a City of Brass mana crypt into a
Oh my goodness. The artifacts just continue to keep coming, and there it is, the turn 1 Ristic study.
Yeah, pretty good, pretty good. Drawing cards. All my friends draw cards. I heard it's decent.
And another artifact. Did they just have artifacts in their hand? Chrome Mox coming in and pitching another blue card underneath it. I missed it before it went underneath the glare. And in comes Thrasios, the good old-fashioned Passios.
That is an offer you can't refuse under the Chrome Mox.
Wait, they weren't done. Ooh, Delighted Halfling coming in here and getting ready to gear up to cast a turn 2 Tevish, potentially. That seems like a very significant advantage. I thought Najila had an awesome turn 1, but being able to slam an uncounterable turn 1 Tevish, get yourself a couple of blockers for Najila, great route. Great route coming out ahead.
Great sequencing by that pilot as well. Deploying the Ristic study then your creatures, just in case anyone wants to interact, you maybe get a card draw out of it.
It's especially since Mindbreak Trap is such a popular card, being able to cast all those artifacts first, and then all of a sudden your Ristic study gets Mindbreak Trapped after casting 3 spells. It's kind of unfortunate. Happened to me multiple times. Looks like we have a land pass from the Derevi going straight into Timna Krom over here with Mana Crypt first, looking for that first land drop here. What are we expecting from Timna Krom here? I think his audio went out. I'm expecting a creature, either a value creature such as the Draenith Magistrate or once again the Dathi Voidwalker, something that provides value, an early Ristic study, or a Mystic Remora. We're trying to find a way to cure value, draw value, get ready to extend this game to the mid game where this deck really ramps up, really fires off.
All right, my audio is back. Yes, yeah, I'm a little worried as Derevi land pass with this current board state. The Mana Crypt's already feeding Nami some cards. Yeah, they did dump their whole hand. You have to follow it up something good, and with this mana, it's looking like a Ristic study.
That's what we're hoping for here. If we get to a 2-table Ristic study, Chrome Mox coming in, pitching Mnemonic Betrayal, a very good card to pitch early, as it's very sketchy to use later on. Let's see what we're going to drop here. Timna coming down. Go ahead.
Playing for the Timna. Interesting. I don't know if losing my Mnemonic Betrayal, I mean, that's a 1-card win con. I don't know. I'm always hesitant on mulliganing to hands that are centric around my commanders. I want my hand to do something without my commanders. I mean, Derevi could have just as easily played a Draenith Magistrate, and I have a hand that does nothing. I'm a little worried. I don't think that Juggernaut Scott has, I don't know if they have much to follow up with this Timna. I think they're looking to gain card draw from this, but I'm a little wary on that keep.
It does seem like a very interesting keep coming from Blue Farm's hand, but I assure you that if there's any other deck that can draw any better, there's no other deck in the format that can draw better than Blue Farm. Najila entering into the combat step. Thank you all for watching. Goodbye. Did I do it? I did the thing. Exalted Trigger. Looks like we went straight into the Derevi in order to make sure our warriors stay alive. 5 points of damage. Went ahead and fetch with an Underground Sea.
I think you could have pressured Nami's life total a little bit, or even the Timna Crown player. They're not going to block with the Timna. You swing into Nami, they have to double block. Oh no, Exalted's +1/+1. They can't kill your Najeela, so you're hoping for the trade. Derevi's the least likely to use their life total. Nami has a mana crypt as well, so you want to pressure their life total as well, as does Timnakram. They're not going to be blocking. I think the correct swing is at Nami.
I certainly agree with the Rhystic Study being on the battlefield. They're going to accrue a lot of advantage, especially through the Thrasios. Looks like we activated Thrasios, and then we looks like we activated Thrasios. We revealed a Mox Diamond that went to hand, and now Derevi is casting a Worldly Tutor here. Derevi is probably looking for a mana creature here, probably a Bloom Tender if they have a second land in hand. Maybe even a Fate Barrel Elder.
Bloom Tender. I'm not sure what you get here. Probably not a Fate Barrel Elder because you can't cast it and you just start developing your board state. It is a Bloom Tender. That makes sense. Eventually it'll start accruing more colors than just the green, but 1/1 for 2 with 3 decks that play Bowmasters is a little tough. I'd be hard pressed to play that.
Just feels just a little bit too slow for the opening hands that we've had, especially between the Najeela and the Thrasios Tevesh. We're going to go ahead and go into the draw step here for turn 2 land. That's a Hallowed Fountain and into the Bloom Tender as they tutored for. I think they're just continuing to try to find grind value here.
Yeah, I think Derevi took too slow of a hand to compete with these other decks. I'm worried what they're able to do long term. I mean, they might stay under the radar and sneak up, but they're already at 33. They're in a tough position.
Badlands played over here. Looks like we're about to rip a Crom, but without that additional mana, we're going to get a Rhystic Study draw coming in from Nami, and already paying off dividends, drawing 2 cards from the Bloom Tender and from Crom coming in here. Very precarious situation for all the players just to try to be in the game.
Yeah, I having played a lot of Timnakram, I'm worried Najeela or Thrasios Tevesh they're going to start running away with it. I mean, drawing cards is great, but you don't want to solely mulligan for playing your commanders if they're not an essential combo piece. You want your deck to do what the deck wants to do without having access to your commanders.
The only deck at this table that I really feel like that can do that is Najeela, of which luckily is in seat 1, position 1, was able to rip it out right away. I already have some warriors that are being able to be kept alive here, and we're getting ready to really grind into everything as they go into their untapped and will draw up to 5 cards in their hand coming in for turn 3.
Yeah, and they've opened swings now to start swinging in, pressuring the life total of Timnakram. I think that's a very worthwhile attack. Notably Exalted, it will not be triggering anymore if they want to make more than 1 warrior per turn. But
now, without the Exalted trigger, that takes away the attack from into Nami, correct? Unless they want to swing a just Najeela into them, correct?
Yeah, I think so. I think you swing. I think you focus on Timnakram right now, the devil you know. Maybe 1 warrior at Derevi, see if they'll trade a Bloom Tender for it. I don't think they will. I think right now you want to hit a critical mass of just accruing warriors as opposed to 1 or 2 points of damage or trying to do tricky trades.
1 more fetch land coming in. We're getting all the ever more closer to that important 5 mana rainbow spread coming in from Najeela, where double combats can start coming in, and we're just beginning this grind train coming in. Here comes the attacks going in at Timnakram, as you said, a very good attack, very good opening coming in from Najeela over here.
Yeah, I mean, it's a Najeela hand that's doing exactly what Najeela wants to do. Putting Najeela out, attacking with Najeela, and making warriors.
Najeela doing Najeela things. Now, at this point, probably beginning to think about, okay, what can I search for? We can start searching for Derevi. We can start searching for our other card draw engines in order to try to win the game from here. Does this deck run ad nauseum, though? Those are always the hidden Najeela players that I love to play against.
In Adnaz wins games. Even one Derevi, though, should be able to win it. You have enough open attackers. You can tap it on top of your lands. The Mana Confluence is really the only hindrance, but even then, you can produce enough mana, have enough triggers, and go off. 3 mana is the sweet spot with Najeela that shows your Derevi. Once those warriors connect, you just untap all your lands and keep the train going.
Very much like this opening from Najeela, especially from somebody who's played, who has a local Najeela player who prominently plays it and has foiled out the entire deck. It's a very expensive deck to see them foil out. It was a painful process. Looks like we're getting some mana here. 3 mana, and down comes a Mnemonic Betrayal of their own. What's in the graveyards?
I truly don't know. I don't think.
Oh, you know what? Is this a cast for Worldly? Are they doing this for the Worldly Tutor?
A 4-mana Worldly Tutor? I mean, you don't get it next turn. I mean, maybe? That's an expensive Worldly Tutor, but if you're feeling like you can just take the win next turn, I mean, it makes sense. We have a Mnemonic Betrayal. Graveyards are exiled.
And
Mnemonic Betrayal does need to be exiled. It shouldn't have gone to graveyard. There we go.
And they did cast the Worldly Tutor. It's on the stack.
I've never seen that before.
That is a very greedy Worldly Tutor. Because you're not accounting for the potential wipes that's in Nami's deck that could be running Culling Ritual. Nami could be on Culling Ritual. There's 2 or 3 decks that could be on Cyclonic Crypt.
I don't think Nami.
One of them.
I don't think Nami Culling Rituals, and that would clear their whole board, only leaving a Rhystic Study. I don't think they're Culling Ritualing.
It's still it's a very greedy Worldly Tutor because there's a large number of plays that can happen between their turn, their end of turn, and the beginning of their next turn. A whole 3 players to go through.
Looks like it was countered by a Force of Negation. We have Mox Diamond discarding a Rejuvenating Springs. What are we cooking with? I think you have to, at a certain point, just jam the... Did we roll for Crypt?
Yes, he did.
Thank you very much to our fabulous judge over here working with us from Chaos Gaming, or Chaos Tournament. Want to give a big shout out to them for hopping in and helping us out run the tournament today.
Yeah.
Got Fetch Lane coming up here. Looks like we're doing some colored mana calculations coming up. Keep on tapping on all the artifacts here. Seedworm Muse could be a possible huge play here. What else could Nami drop that would just shake the table around here?
Seedborn Muse would be good. Seedborn Muse would be very good. And start Thrasios Pasiosing. You have, without that, you have 2 Thrasios activations for turn rotation as well. Even if you don't cast anything, you still have game actions to take, which is pretty good.
Is that a Phyrexian Metamorph, or is that a
Let's see.
That's a demonic consultation.
Do they just have it?
demonic consultation on the stack? You're fighting through.
The only people who have commanders on the battlefield is Najila and the blue and Tim Crom.
What do you mean?
Like the only way that you'll have what 1, 2, 3, 4. You only have 6 or 7 counter spells that you gotta fight through. Oh, there it is. There's one.
Yeah, you have to fight through fearsome forces. And there's a force of will pitching a flusterstorm on the demonic consultation. Ristic study draw. And Nami did not have the protection. So there's 2 cards in hand, 4 or 5 cards in hand, one of which is likely Thassa's Oracle. I like that play, though. I like when people cast their spells and try to win.
The game has to end at a certain point in time, and it's very true in this cEDH environment. So now that our consult is foil, now we're probably looking for a slow game plan. There's probably too many warriors now to deploy Tevish effectively. But I think we're just going to try here. Tap into the Delighted Halfling. And counting up mana. I think we're going to see it here. Oh, no, that's a lot of mana coming out. There's the finale of Devastation.
I mean, yeah, finale X equals 4.
4 or 5. If it's 4, then that'd be very interesting. But and there's another force of will. Nami cannot catch a break here.
Let's see. It was 1, 2, 3. 1, 2. Looks like it was 5. Oh, no, I'm sorry, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. No, 5. So yeah, that was probably the keyboard muse.
Mm-hmm. The firing off another one with their massive hand size is Eternal Witness? No, that doesn't look right. I'm very bad at reading cards that have glare.
It's one of the talismans.
That's one of the Doctor Who talismans. I think that's the green-blue one.
Talisman of Curiosity. But yeah, Nami just being stopped at every step of the way there, even though they had a very impressive hand size because of their Ristic study there.
All right, back to Derevi. I didn't think Derevi was going to make it this far.
They have had a lackluster game, haven't they?
Force of Will was clutch. The card draw with the mana on board with that Seaboard Muse would have just. I don't think the table was going to be able to overcome that.
They've from what I've seen, they've kept the table has kept a very responsible opening hands here. Two Force of Wills and then another counterspell earlier on. Very respectable hands, but not respectful enough in order to try to get the mental or the mind break trap on to the Ristic study.
All right, we have the Derevi. Curious why they tapped their mana that way. If you use your lands, keep mana up. Oh, they wanted to pay for the Ristic study. Okay. I don't pay my taxes, so I can respect people that do. Right now, I'm most scared of Tim Crom or Najila. Najila's one card away from winning, and Tim Crom has some pretty decent damage output as well as card draw on board as well.
And especially now knowing that unless Nami draws into Counterspell Seer on whenever they try for a one attempt, they know that Derevi is most likely tapped out, having to pitch a card to the Force of Will. And if we make it to Najila's turn, Tim Crom probably will draw 2-3 more cards on their next turn. So it's anyone's game at this point. Still very control heavy table. You love to see this type of Magic the Gathering, especially vying for a top 4 position right here at the beginning of Arcane Series. Bloom Tinder can produce 3 mana here. Looks like we're tapping it, and we're going to play Feyburl Elder.
Okay, that's a respectable amount of mana on the board now. Like 9 mana once they untap.
It's very quick. It's crazy how quickly Derevi is just able to say, hey, I have this wonderful creature here, and then just rip out more mana than anyone has ever seen before. Like that is a dockside extortionist amount of mana between 2 creatures right there on the battlefield. Insane. Going into the untap here of Crown Timna here. Let's see what they have in store for us.
Mana Crypt did do some damage. We have 5 mana available. I'm drawing 2 additional cards. I think that's going to put them at a full 7 or so.
Let's see. You probably send they send the Crown over at Nami. And then, of course, the Timna over at the Open Nagila player. You're going to do the Timna thing, draw some cards, ask the table to see if they have Bowmasters or Notion Thief.
Well, no one's casting Notion Thief.
Not anymore, anyway. That it used to be good a couple months ago, but thanks to Bowmasters, everything that has X1 just gets sniped down.
I'll be honest, I haven't seen a Notion Thief cast in like 3 years.
That's so sad. I just had it in my son's white deck just 4 months ago. It was so good against these Ristics and these Mystics. Slamming down the mana vault here. We're looking to just continue to ramp up into something on this Timna Crom's board here. But yeah, I miss Notion Thief. I miss Narset Parter of What Veils, the Planeswalker. Oh man. I miss telling people, no, you cannot draw cards. That's bad.
So it looks like they're not drawing into anything that's really impactful. They're advancing their board state in terms of mana production, but you need spells to cast with all of that mana, and it does not seem like they're drawing really what they're looking for. No tutors, no creatures, nothing. It's just they seem a little stagnant.
Looks like we're gonna land something here. Ranger Captain of Eos. That will help them go and find Esper Sentinel most likely. And not to mention a very strong onboard silence piece should it resolve. Ristic Study has been triggered.
Pretty good. The only tough part about grabbing Esper Sentinel is you can't cast it this turn.
Mm-hmm.
I think I'm more inclined to maybe grab a Ragavan.
Then you're not even able to cast that, you know?
You dash it next turn, though, deal damage. It pays for itself in mana, and then you also get a card off of it. Guaranteed, as opposed to Esper Sentinel, which will sit there for a turn cycle and maybe not draw cards.
Looks like they know exactly what they're searching for. Quickly picked up their deck, and they're shuffling through it right now.
You pay for Ristic or you lose the game. I don't know if that's true. Maybe it's true.
To an extent, it's true. To an extent, but usually it only comes in hands if you're doing a very good job of counting counter spells, because usually in a typical deck they have, in my opinion, I think a deck should have 6 to 8 counter spells and then have 11 to 12 pieces of interaction total, including the counter spells. I like to interact in this format a whole lot. Did end up grabbing the Esper Sentinel. They flipped it on top of their hands, shoved it into their hands, and we're looking like we're getting ready to pass the turn over here to Nagila. Turn 4 coming around the table.
Right. I mean, you have some decent swings with Nagila. You kind of lose access to you can't Nas comfortably because the Ranger Captain is just going to get cracked. But you can Nas on top of the TNK turn, but kind of an awkward position that the Ranger Captain has put the table in. I mean, it can be cracked if you don't want to deal with a Tavesh. it's a great play by the T&K pilot.
It looks like Najila has one good attack here, and that's into Nami, who only has the Thrasios untapped in order to block one warrior when they're able to create 3 warriors. In comes the Mana Vault. Let's see if they're respectable. They are. They pay for the Rhystic Study. But then why not tap Ancient Tomb in order to play that spell?
Yeah, no, I agree with you there.
Moving into the combat step, swinging Najila into Nami. Nami blocks with Thrasios, takes the rest of the damage. One warrior dies. Should have, let's see, this is their 3rd swing with Najila. That is terrifying.
It should have 7 total.
That is a lot of warriors. Next one will produce 15 warriors. Oh my goodness, the Najila train is rolling right now. Has, innocuously enough, has 7 untapped mana here. That is a very specific number. That is a Cyclonic Rift number right there.
Cyclonic Rift would be good right now. Oh, even better. You have more mana.
Well, what we got going on in Nami's turn coming over here?
We got a Kinnan dropped. So that gives us access now to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 mana from the rocks, 12 with the land.
That is a lot of mana that Thrasios can absolutely use and abuse if it wasn't a Pyroblast.
Yeah, that's a great Pyroblast to just deal with the cannon. That is too much mana to let the Thrastavesh player run away with.
Your casters for this afternoon, you have Lauren, who has played in multiple tournaments and occasionally dresses up in a hot dog costume, if I recall. And then you have the wonderful voice of Dex Says here, giving you the play-by-play action coming up here.
We have a Veil of Summer in response to the Pyroblast. That does not work.
It does work. So because if the spell is still on the stack, it depends on when the Pyroblast is cast, correct?
Veil of Summer only protects against blue and red. Or I'm sorry, blue and black.
That's if it was on the battlefield. But if it's on the stack, your spells cannot be countered.
Oh, I thought it was from blue and black sources. Interesting.
Nope. It says your spells cannot be countered. Your permanents have hexproof from blue and black sources.
Interesting. Okay.
Yes. So it is effectively a silence. And I love to use it in my Ecrocrom list as a lead-off spell in order to try for game-winning turns there.
That is a good catch.
Looks like we're going around the table and we're trying to talk something out here because the Kinnan is a very powerful piece here.
Yeah, the Kinnan just breaks the door wide open for the Thrasios Tavesh. I did not realize that on Veil of Summer. That's a great catch on you, Dex says. And yeah, no, that's a potent card.
One of the very small advantages that I have in playing green over white. Like, if I'm not playing white, I'm missing out on all the value creatures and one of my favorite spells ever, Smothering Tithe. Deflecting Swat does not help in this situation, and that's what the rest of the table is trying to convince the Najila player. They're like, hey, we can't do anything here. This is a danger button right now.
So T&K showed that they have a Deflecting Swat in hand. Deflecting Swat does not do much. I mean, you can swat the blast to hit the study if you're concerned about that, or even hit the Thrasios, but it doesn't do much in terms of how it's affecting what's about to happen.
And at this point, there's so much mana that's just been on the table, and the whole table we're talking here, this is a game-losing action. I noticed those knife hands that Najila comment out here that's saying, yeah, I only have one card in hand. I can't do anything either. They're in a very tedious situation. It looks like we're resolving the Veil of Summer.
Nice. That's a great Veil of Summer by Nami. Very patient play. You're at 15 life. They're playing cool as a cucumber right now. Very impressive showing.
Kinnan lands. Mana production has just doubled and tripled. Well, not tripled, but specifically doubled.
It depends, Captain Moral Support. I think Nami's in a very good spot to be in a winning position. I need to see a winning spell before I will fully commit to, hey, they're winning, but it's a fantastic place to be in.
Tidespout Tyrant would do it here. We're floating mana. That's what Nami is doing off here to the side. I thought they were just randomly producing lands. Nope. They're grabbing lands from their token pile, and you're representing it as floating mana over here to the right underneath their graveyard. Lot of mana floating here. Burning mana.
This is an impressive showing by Thrasios to Vesh.
Activating Thrasios, activating Kinnan, even better. We're digging for that Tidespout Tyrant, aren't we?
Let's see. I'm curious what the what's the word? How many non-creatures this deck actually runs? And that's a 7 mana whiff on Kinnan.
Mm-hmm.
Brutal.
Looks like we're about to spin the wheel again for another 7 mana. I think that was a really ineffective use of the mana, considering they have... Oh, but there's the Seaborn Muse! Huge flip right there coming down!
Yeah, that's pretty backbreaking for his opponents. I mean, for their opponents, you're going to be untapping all those rocks with the Kinnan. That's 1, 2, 3, or 4 now Thrasios activations per turn. Nami's it's a game of Arch Enemy now.
It wouldn't shock me if they're just able to continue to draw from the rest of their deck and then win the game from here. Obviously, there's no way for them to win right away unless they do specifically Born Upon the Wind and then able to proceed to find a loop or find a combo from there. So maybe one more turn cycle. But even after that, it just might be so much of an advantage at that point. No one can really climb back from this.
Yeah, they have 18 mana available to them, and they will have 18 mana available to them at every turn. That's an insane amount of value with your Thrasios out.
Very phenomenal follow-up from the turn 1 Risic study and then dumping their hands full of mana rocks. I think they had, 2 cards in hand after dumping their hand? They haven't even brought out Tavesh, which is arguably their stronger drop engine at the beginning of the game. This Risic study has just provided an immense amount of value there.
That's true, Blind Carl. T&K does still have the Ranger Captain. They could be sneaky, depending on what they draw, and squeak out underneath all of this card draw.
Now the rest of the table has to think about, okay, there is no way I'm beating Nami here. You can't win into this board state here. You can't possibly even draw into, they're going to draw in all their counter spells from Thrasios. How do you even proceed into this board state that probably has all the answers coming up here soon?
Yeah, and if they don't have them now, they can just dig to find them. Is
there anything that in these color pairings? Is there anything that in these decks that they can do?
I mean, you hope your opponent whiffs. I mean, they whiffed on a Kinnan activation. You hope that they can dig with Thrasios, not finding anything they need, and then you, as a team, unfortunately, you have to start taking apart their board, either with spot removal, psych rifts, or silences, just to keep them in check.
It's so brutal for Cyclonic Rift though, because all their stuff is their most expensive piece on the board is obviously Seaborn Mute, But then followed up, it's just Rhystic Study. Everything else from there is either 2 or 0 mana, which is insane.
Yeah,
Curse Totem would be awesome here, by the way. Thank you.
A Cycrypt Overload from Derevi right now stops them from having the Thrasios activations on 2 more turns throughout the turn cycle. I guess the turn cycle is about to end, but it's forcing them in a position where you're forcing them to overuse their resources and then not have access to them. Another thing that you could do to stop them is Demonic Consultation plus Thassa's Oracle. That would prevent them from being able to take further game actions.
Yes, you can't take any game actions because I win the game, losers.
That's the mindset that I'm in right now. Is hey, I'm not either I win or I don't, so I'm going to be trying to win. Yeah, exactly, Priscilla. Just win. It's that easy. Just win the game. Like I don't need to be concerned about my opponents winning if I'm winning.
Derevi might have the mana here. They have 6, 7, 8. They have 9 mana available. 10, 11, 12 technically if you swing, attack, tap on tap. But the mana at this point for Derevi is very inconsequential when Nami has so many cards. And here we go. Go ahead and put on your sleeping mask here, folks. We're about to have some activated triggers coming in from Nami.
Did we just move to end step?
Looks like it. We're tapping our mana crypt over here. We're getting out the islands and the forest to represent how much mana we have. And we're digging.
Just as the former Raiders owner used to say, just win, baby. Captain Westport, you strike me as a Raiders fan.
Oh, you'd be sadly mistaken. When you're from the Midwest, there's only one small town Midwestern team we root for. Go, Pack, go!
Oh, you're a Chiefs fan? That, you know.
Yes. Wrong part of the Midwest, I see. Looks like we're digging. We're looking.
Oh, we found a Basalt Monolith. Okay. Not able to use it again unless we get that, like you said, the Born Upon the Wind. Grew up in Springfield, Missouri before New York.
So Basalt Monolith went to hand because of the Thrasios trigger.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Okay.
And we have a Fairy Mastermind. Okay.
Fact of negation. And there's the additional draw out there. Very timely Fairy Mastermind there. A little bit too late, but it's something.
Yeah, if the turn gets back to Nami, Nami has to win this game. There's no way Nami doesn't win this game with the amount of Thrasios activations and a Pact of Negation now in hand. I don't see how they lose.
Very strong, and it's the unfortunate game of attrition at this point of just tiring opponents out of their options. More than a half hour left in this round. This is the Thrasios Devish's players' game to lose at this point here. Very beautiful game here played by Nami.
Yeah, I'm curious. I can see T&K cracking the Ranger Captain if they have just the gas. Even a Nas. I would Nas at 29 in this position. You have to try to win. I do declare Sheriff Hotdog just says, just win, baby. I'm a big fan of people casting their spells. I like casting my spells. Looks like we have a Tainted Pact.
We're going for yet another Forbidden Tutor in order to try to find something just to close it out just a little bit faster. Just a little bit faster.
Yeah, I mean, I would not at speed life at this point. True. No, I like it. I like that they're not taking risks. You're kind of forcing the hand of the Ranger Captain to be cracked, especially if you stop at like a Born Upon the Wind or something. I don't know. Nami, I think, is confident that they have this win, not to discount their opponents, but they have the table on squeeze, and I think they're at a point now where just trying to force their opponents to use resources.
Tainted Pact, here we go. We're digging for something. Separating our hands from the rest of the pile. Time Twister, Cyclonic Rift, and we just keep on digging. Many cards there that could have just said, yeah, no, we're going to stop here. Noxious Revival, we're looking at our graveyard wondering what we could pick up here.
Another Tainted Pact.
Ooh, that'd be very humorous. I like that. And we just keep going. We have the Basalt in hand. And Gaia's Cradle was exiled there, so it's definitely not crop rotation.
Yeah, I like how deep they're going.
And kind of slowing up here. Come on, internet. I need you to come back to me. And there it is. A Hull Breaker Horror. That is a very good card there. Yeah, Splash too, correct?
It does. It does indeed.
So that is your answer into the Ranger Captain. Do they have the mana to bounce it before upkeep here?
The interesting part about Ranger Captain and Hullbreaker Horror is Ranger Captain will not stop the Hullbreaker Horror. So if there's some sort of flash creature line, it only stops non-creature spells.
Correct. The issue isn't, once again, the issue isn't making it back around the table. The issue is this turn right here, right now. What we didn't see throughout all of Nami's card draw and trickery and all stuff like that is Timna Krom has been patiently waiting off to the side and drawn multiple cards thanks to other people casting, and almost back up to a full grip over here.
Yeah, I'm not entirely too worried about that. I think, aren't we in, we're in Derevi's end step, aren't we?
No, that was during combat right there.
Oh, wow. Okay.
We went into combat, and Derevi combat damage trigger, and we untapped our Bloom Tinger. Now we're in end step. Now we're in upkeep. Now we're there. We activated Crypt, but we did not sacrifice the Ranger Captain.
Interesting. Okay.
They're flashing it in now as they had priority on their upkeep.
Do you force the crack, or you hope they don't crack it, and then you can just run away with the game? I mean, you can start ripping apart their board. Or if the Hullbreaker resolves and then you crack it, then you just do it over the top of it.
Like, if they're targeting it now, doesn't Timna Krom just recast it? And then during their upkeep, they sacrifice it?
I think you target the Krom right now.
Interesting. Why do you target the Krom right now?
Most expensive piece, makes it a lot harder to swing and attack through. You hope that they crack the Ranger Captain and go down 2 creatures, and then they have to overcommit mana to recast it. And then if you target Krom, in response they sack Ranger Captain. If the Hullbreaker does resolve, then you just cast instants and sorceries above it. Bounce the rocks, bounce Timna, start pushing things. Just take them out of the game, surgically.
What you didn't see there is off of a Thrasios activation, another potent piece of Thrasios lore has just dropped. Displacer Kitten was revealed and drawn to hand. So at this point, with another combo piece in hand, it's just lights out. It absolutely is lights out.
Waterlogged Grove entering the battlefield tap.
I don't know how I feel about these new foils. Like, I like the looks of them to an extent.
I like the Surge foils a lot.
Like, the Surge foils definitely have a new, unique type of flair to them. I haven't heard as many complaints about Surge foils doing the Pringle effect, curling a whole lot. Have you?
No, and I've had a few. They curl slightly just because of the printing process, but they're way better than a standard foil.
That is fantastic to hear. Makes me want to foil out my Mystics deck.
Foil Etch, Captain Motorsport, this is where we disagree every time that we're on stream. Foil Etch is dog water. Like,
he would know. He's the FTG hot dog.
True. I'm an active. If there's one person left on Earth who hates Foil Etch, it's me. I will die on that hill.
Went into combat here. We're swinging out. Oh, wow, just with everybody. Nami went down to 8.
Can I get a "we hate Foil Etched" in the chat? Just everyone, if you hate Foil Etched, I really need to prove a point to Captain Motorsport. Even if you don't hate it, can you just say it for me? Just say Foil Etched sucks, or I hate Foil Etched. Just anything to disparage Foil Etched. I really need to prove this point. Right? I need this win right now, please. All right.
Why did they just drop there next to the Man of All?
I don't know. I cannot tell. I think it's a signet of some sort. They tapped the Man of All for it.
Yeah, that would make a lot of sense there. I mean, there's an island tapped. I thought for a split second it was a heuristic study.
Oh, maybe it is. Maybe it's the jumpstart heuristic study. I think you're totally right.
If it's a heuristic study, like, it's not huge. Obviously, you got a lot to come from. It is a heuristic study. Or yeah, that's a heuristic study. Beautiful play there. Like, not significant enough because, well, they're at 8. And there's a lot of warriors coming out from Najila.
Yeah, I think right now you are trying to tell the table, hey, let's deal with this problem. They don't have enough creatures to block. I think you have to just swing in. And as for Sentinel.
They're doing a very good job of keeping up with their heuristic study triggers here. Doing a very good job of making sure that Nami doesn't draw an out, even though they're digging through their entire deck between the Seedborn Muse, Thrasios, Kinnan, and now the whole Breaker Horror.
All right, I'm just going to say it. I also hate full arts for basics.
Oh, wow. That's an interesting. I think at one point in time, they were a very good novelty. I'm talking about back when... original Zendikar, back when Return to Zendikar was very popular and they had the full art lands for those specific sets. But then I
liked them when they were unglued and unhinged. They were perfect, and they had the John Avon ones. They had the kind of an it factor, and then the original unset with the egg. It had the little tap symbol. Those were perfect. Those were great. Then every set started doing full art basics, and now I'm like, I hate them. I also hate basic lands. Basic lands are for cowards.
There's a very strong reason why you're in this format. Going into the untapped step here of Najila, Nami says, no, wait. It's our untapped step as we're trying to find a way to survive this onslaught of warriors. They have a lot of creatures, but is it enough to survive a potential 2 combat steps coming in from Najila?
Oh, wait, I lied. I do like the Theros Beyond Death ones.
Ooh, you're not wrong. Those are some, but those also just remind me of Pokemon cards.
Exactly.
You know, the Pokemon energies, you know?
I'm with you. Yeah, those are the only good full arts now, and the John Avon ones, but I like them, and then they got reprinted, and then I didn't like them because I like the old Borderlands better. Nothing but hot takes here in the combat stuff. And if you're following us here, check out the combat step, Instagram, Facebook, Threads, YouTube, Twitter, AKX, and Twitch. Please check out the combat step. Combat step is a ever-growing channel, new to the scene, but already showing that they can rock a solid online tournament. A lot of positive feedback from this tournament already. Sign up for the second one are already up to. Hyped for this. Follow them on social media. Keep up to date. And I think they do. Jace, I think you're still in the chat while we're kind of resolving this Thrasios Pathios stack. you do more than just cEDH tournaments, right? You have like modern FNMs, right? You like tell us a little bit about the channel while we're kind of just watching this Thrasio stack resolve.
Yes, we are planning on launching a modern FNM for those of us that play 60 card formats and also enjoy the competitive scene. There'll be cash prizes with that. It's, I forget how much, I want to say $10. I don't remember right offhand, but it is in Top Deck for the first event towards the end of the month, and then it'll be a weekly event. You pay to play and you win. And it is proxy friendly, just like our cEDH tournaments are. So if you want to play what I play and play Amulet Titan and proxy that stuff, go for it. If you want to test out a new deck and see how good Modern Merfolk is, proxy that stuff up and come on down, swing out some cards. It's a lot of fun to play Modern as well as Commander cEDH. And then our content is just about all over the place. We have deck techs that we do, mid-powered gameplay. We love to play with new people, and we love meeting people.
What I love, great story about my first modern viewing experience. Very new into the scene, very new to Magic the Gathering as a whole. I was viewing SCG back in their heydays, and the first deck I ever saw played was Amulet Titan. And I saw them play down Amulet, and then I saw them play a land and untap it and tap it and return it back to their hand, and then do it again. And I'm like, this guy is cheating. That's not how you're supposed to play Magic. How is a new player supposed to understand that?
I'm going to try to play Amulet Titan and win on turn 3 with just playing lands. You see, you watch. I'm going to burn you down with my Valakut.
That's cheating. But it's a phenomenal, once I understood it, it's a phenomenal deck and a lot of fun. Looks like we found a snap, which helps remove the Ranger Captain of Eos here. Right before their turn 2.
That's a great find by Nami, who already was running away with the game. I think that definitely secured, hey, this is Nami's game to lose now. This is I'm going to look and see where they are at in terms of points and breakers.
Mm-hmm. We had a
Nami is at 5 points.
Nami is at 5 points. Let's see. Are they at 17th place?
They're 18th, I believe, going into the final round.
Interesting. Okay, so this is a big game. So is that Love, LUV?
Yes, it is.
Okay, so this player, Nami, is at 5 points. However, if my napkin mouse calculations are correct, I think one 10-pointer can still make it into the top 4. So this is actually a huge game, and I think really, really ups the competitive level of who's going into top 4 right now. And this I've never seen a round 4 in a 40-person event be this wide open for who's making it into top 6, or who's making it into top 4. I mean, it truly is wide open.
It's a mathematical miracle at this point, because usually at this point, you'd have more than 3/4 of the field eliminated, but now half of the field has an opportunity to come on over here. Dispel coming in here trying to counter something. What's on the stack here? No, because they returned a Ranger Captain to hand already, unless they sacrificed it during Najeel's turn, of which is just a throw in and of itself.
Interesting. Yeah, curious what that instant they're hitting.
Hold up. Is that a Born Upon to Win underneath the snap?
Oh, that is. Yeah, directly to the
There's the Dispel. There's the Pact of Negation. And that is what will potentially win the game. Snap is still on the stack.
And this is a pact right before they go into their turn, right? So if something drastic or terrible happens, they are going to lose.
Right now.
They're going to lose. They could lose. Yeah, I'm sorry. It's like their board's ripped apart. They might not have the mana going into their upkeep.
So here's the crazy thing about the stack right now. They cast a snap. Timna Crom sacrificed the Ranger Captain. That's a trigger on the stack. Then they threw on the Born Upon to Win. Dispel and Pact Negation followed that up. We're seeing Deflecting Slot being in hand over here.
Yep. Is this this is in Shadow Walker's upkeep, correct?
Yes, it is.
Something also to consider. Say that Nami draws their entire deck and goes for a Thoracle line, something like that with a Demonic Consultation. Thunder Down has the Fairy Mastermind.
Yes. Ooh, yes. And then just being able to sneak in a couple draw triggers on top of it.
Yeah, I mean, just one activation if there's no cards in library, that will kill Nami. And I don't know if Nami's accounting for that. If I'm in Nami's position, I would have completely forgotten about that Fairy Mastermind at this point. I'll be honest, I would have not have been paying attention. And I'm like, oh, cool, I'm winning this game. And then I'm just going to die to a Fairy Mastermind. And I tell you that as someone who's done that before.
Oh no, you got.
I think the best thing that I think Juggernaut can do with this Deflecting SWAT is have the Pact counter the Born Upon a Wind. And that way, the Pact still resolves, that upkeep trigger will still occur, but you get to 2-core on your opponent.
Yes, absolutely. Just being able to force them to pay the Pact trigger, even though it doesn't really matter because they have a jillion of mana. But having them just pay 5 mana into it helps out somewhat. Helps double down on that.
Yeah, if I can for free make my opponent pay 5 mana at their upkeep, I'm going to do that every day of the week.
Oh, you know what I completely forgot? In between each of the spells, the Snap, the Board Upon the Wind, the Pact of Negation, there is a Hullbreaker Horror trigger layered in between all of them.
Oh, gee.
There is.
Are we missing
that is
this
ridiculous.
I might actually want to go sit on this call.
Have fun with that.
Yeah, thanks.
Yeah, great catch. I would have been happy if my opponent missed those, but
there is no way that this player has grinded so far for so long and not have missed the Hullbreaker Horror triggers, of which is absolutely countering everything. Right now, there's probably targets on Najila. There's probably targets on Fairy Mastermind, Revi. We're trying to bounce everything back up to hand that we possibly can right now.
Yeah, my number one target right now is I'm bouncing the Fairy Mastermind. I say that with perfect, hey, I'm watching this game, not playing it. I, again, will reiterate, I would have 100% forgotten about that card.
All right. Looks like we're getting ready to resolve the trigger. Looks like SWAT did get Pact did get redirected to target the Born Upon the Wind. I'm Zarek. What do you mean by artless lands?
I think the full text ones.
Oh, there. Yeah, where there's just rules.
Zarek, you're a sicko, and I love it.
Sick player.
Only,
we appreciate
only
you nonetheless.
Only little freaks use full text lands, and I love it. Those are expensive foil. They're like $10 a pop foil. I'm like, damn.
Well. So $10 a foil is nothing compared to what the unglued lands used to be.
Right.
One of them,
I had those back in the day.
Oh man, it used to be. It's so expensive back in the day. It was insane.
Blind Carl wanting full text shocks after my own heart. Wow.
You know what? Screw the shocks. Remove the reserved list. Full text duels. That's it. That's how you reprint the duels. That's it. Looks like we're talking here and trying to get stuff figured out. Spells are starting to resolve, and I do believe
what a game this has been.
Snap is 2 different lines of text, isn't it?
Soul Sleep. No. It's one line, but if the spell
one line of text. That is the important thing. So the reason why, Snap reads, it's because it's all one line, he still gets to untap, or they still get to untap 2 lands, because even though the target's no longer there, it does as much as the spell asks of it. It says, hey, bounce this creature, untap 2 lands. The creature's no longer there, but I'll still untap 2 lands. Love the small niche interactions.
Yeah, Blind Carl and Soul Sleep, that is correct. The deflecting SWAT redirected the Pact of Negation to counter the Born Upon a Wind to effectively counter, not effectively, it did counter it.
We want to double check with our fellow judge over here, Judge Dog. Is that how it went?
Yes, exactly how that he said it. The deflecting SWAT redirected the Pact of Negation to the Born Upon a Wind. The stack has resolved, and the Range Captain ability has gone off.
On Najeela's turn, nonetheless.
Did they forget their Hullbreaker Horror triggers?
No,
they resolved all of them.
Word.
And it looks like they recast Najeela here, forcing them to spend 3 mana here. But with 7 creatures coming in here, it might just be too much. Nami might just die right here, right now.
I mean, yeah, 7 swing, trigger, you'll make 14, you can kill Nami.
So this is, and for those asking what is Derevi doing, this is exactly what Derevi is doing. Derevi is waiting for Nami to die here, and probably did all the math beforehand after swinging into them with Derevi. And they're just sitting back and waiting even harder than Timna Krom had done. And now their interaction is spent, and now Najeela's interaction has been spent as well. If Nami dies here, then Derevi's door is wide open.
To be honest, I think the Derevi player just got very lucky. I think they are kind of burnt out of interaction, and they are now kind of being catapulted in this winning position. But blind luck or tactical, either way, it's genius.
Blind Carl is correct. You see what's on the stack over here? Orcish Bowmasters. The additional draws, but most importantly, being able to snipe not one, being able to snipe a warrior, block a warrior. That should be enough blocks behind for Nami in order to survive one more turn.
So that's going to be okay. Yeah, that will bounce Najeela. Oh yeah, the bouncing Najeela is what locks it down. Because if Najeela didn't get bounced, and there's 6 tokens, go to 5, make 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 blockers, 6 blockers with the token. Yeah, your opponent goes to 4, or I'm sorry, goes to 1, takes 4.
Oh geez, I did not expect to come back to the Nami still in this game.
Yeah, right.
Nor did we. We saw the Najeela coming down, and then Bowmasters came from out of nowhere. Reveals Culling the Rank and Orcish Bowmasters in the Timna Krom's hand. Another way, if Bowmaster comes in and snipes the Bowmaster or another creature, this or that is just all around here.
Hey chat, can you do me a favor? This is a little off topic. I have a very special friend watching this stream, listening to me and my wonderful friend Dexay's rant about Magic the Gathering. Can everyone just say hi to Jenny? Give Jenny a big shout out. She's watching. This is her first introduction to Magic the Gathering, and she is cleaning the house, her house, listening to this. If everyone give Jenny a shout out, just to embarrass her a little bit, annoy her. Yeah. Thank you, everyone. Much appreciated. Thank you, Jace, for letting me hijack the stream for like 2 seconds.
Well, hello, Jenny. I would like to greatly apologize that I make everything as complicated as possible, but I assure you, the content is amazing.
Damn. Jace, thanks for letting me just hijack 30 seconds. Everyone, y'all are great. Much appreciated.
I was trying to think how to do a Forrest Gump Jenny thing, and I couldn't.
No, Jedi. No, Jedi.
Thanks, chat. You guys rock. Really though, shout out to chat. Like, you guys have been so like interactive and commenting and posting and keeping us updated on things we might miss in the game. Genuinely couldn't do this without genuinely could not do this without you. Super appreciate you guys. You guys have been great, and it makes our job as casters that much more fun, that much more enjoyable to just like be here with you, and just be hanging out with you guys virtually.
I think and the best thing about this is we're still in the politics stage over here for Endgame, but absolutely love that this first tournament for Arcane Series has been doing very well, and I haven't heard a lot of issues on my end either. So we're in a good spot. We've had a bit of a rocky start to the beginning of the new year. Happy that this first one is going well. Can't wait to see what the rest of the tournaments have throughout the rest of this year.
And I do want to say kind of a little bit behind the scenes stuff, talking to Jace before this tournament started. Jace has done an incredible job of making sure that this was a fair and environment, and people in the community who, you know, are persona non grata, not able to play at events. Jace, I feel, really went above and beyond to make sure that this was a fair and enjoyable play experience for everyone. And yeah, maybe we play in a tournament, we don't get the result that we want. But Jace, you know, shout out to you. You really went above and beyond on this. So again, thanks for the opportunity to cast this. This has been awesome. I'm stoked to see how this game ends. I'm stoked for the top four. But you really, leading up to this event, you know, between our messages and stuff and the things I was able to see online, you've done an incredible job.
And that's the craziest thing about this. We still have finals to come around. 10 minutes left in the round. Calling the week. Sacrificing the Esper Sentinel in order to produce 5 black mana to cast the revealed Bowmasters that's in Tim the Crum's own hand. So now we're back right into this politicking stage of, listen, there's no way for you to win. I'm just going to bounce my own stuff with my own Hullbreaker Horror, come back in, snipe again. Looks like we're passing priority right now, though.
Pretty damn good.
Very much. And there's the mana being represented there.
Okay, calling. I mean, this has to be an Adnos?
No, they revealed Bowmasters in their own hand, so they're casting it now. Yeah,
gotcha. I missed that. Okay, I see.
Yes, they had a Bowmasters in their own hand. They revealed. It pinged a warrior soul sleep, but in order to cast the Esper Sentinel, they cast Calling the Weak.
Gotcha.
Mm-hmm.
OBM. Okay, hold on, Soul Sleep. I've never seen Orcish Bowmasters be typed that as OBM, and I was like, damn, someone's got BM right now.
Oh, just typical OBM.
Didn't know if you sacked in response to prevent in a mass trigger.
It wouldn't prevent to get mass trigger because of the same reason why Snap untapped the land. Because
it does. If
Orcish protects for OBM?
Yeah, if Orcish Bowmasters does not, if that ability does not, excuse me, if that ability fizzles, you do not get the token. You don't amass one. I learned that watching a lot of Brian Koval.
That is so fascinating. Magic the Gathering's a weird game.
Been on a big Legacy kick recently. I kind of want to play Legacy.
So it does look like Soul is correct that it did target Esper Sentinel, which is why Calling the Weak came down.
Interesting.
This is just a complicated board state.
So if I'm Nami right now, if I'm in a winning position, or as commanding of a winning position as Nami is in right now, there's less than 10 minutes left in the round. I am enforcing slow play at a higher level than I usually would. I would be going like, guys, we're doing a lot of politicking. Spells are on the stack. My triggers are on the stack. We need to start resolving stuff. Because this now is not in my best interest if I'm Nami, is having all these people talk.
Not to mention that it's not even your turn. Yes, we're going in. We're trying to go into. We're about to leave Nagila's turn before combat. Looks like the bowmaster from Timnakram went to face. So it looks like we are getting at a good pace. But I do agree with you in the sense that Nami does need to push the pace of play because we've been in this format for a very, very long time. Or we've been in this turn for a very, very long time.
On the flip side, though, if I am Tim Nakram or I'm Najila, I'm making sure to discuss all of my plays thoroughly and making sure making sure everyone's in agreement with what's going on.
We are at 5 minutes and 30 seconds left in the round, and we're getting ready to see who our final pod will be. How's the rest of the pods doing? We're gonna creep into the chats here.
Damn, Blind Carl, you got eyes apparently. I believe Hullbreaker Horror they missed the trigger.
Yep. Well, we got the judge down there in there. Judge went down into the chat. And the fairy mastermind are coming out with the Orcish Bowmasters.
Pretty damn good.
We're going to try to snipe Nami out of the game before they even have a chance to go.
Oh, that's genius. Yeah, because it just goes to Nagila's turn. We're on Nagila's turn, right?
If anything, I believe we'd be... Oh, man, I don't even know where we're at. Because if we're
because the Nagila was bounced and then redeployed.
And all this army doesn't really matter too much. This army should go, or the warrior army, I should say, should go into the Timnakram, which just leaves the Revi with a beautiful board state and a lot of mana to try to draw their way out of it.
I mean, you just move to Nami's turn and then at upkeep hold priority and activate Fairy Mastermind.
Oh, man. And what a turn of events here.
That Bowmaster. Oh, I'm sorry. There's two Bowmasters. Nami should be dead, right? There should be.
There's only one that targets Nami.
Oh, duh. Yes. Thank you. I'm an idiot.
We're getting ahead of ourselves. We're not trying to shoot ourselves into the face, all right? It does say any target, so a deflecting swat could happen. But let's remember, we're not trying to kill ourselves.
Juggernauts is going to resolve before Nami's too, so the Nami's Bowmasters can't even kill anything.
Oh, and Nami is dead, and there was another trigger that was put on the stack that kills the Fairy Mastermind. How big is this Orc army after all these draws?
Wow.
Very commanding position here. Going into combat with the Warriors.
That is a fall from grace if I've ever seen it. That Bowmaster is crazy how that was the bridge too far.
And I think the other big thing is just the amount of life that Nami lost, not just by being attacked by Crom and other creatures, but from the lands they had, from the artifacts they were using in order to produce color, and just ticked away their life little by little by little. You'll see that throughout our entire gameplay. They're down to 15 all the way before turn 5 here. Well, this is coming up to be turn 5 here. Turn 4? Oh, no, it's turn 5. It's turn 5. Derevi just missed the land drop.
All right. What is time in the round?
We're coming up on it very rapidly. Minute 58 coming in here on my screen. And we have 4 lands. Derevi. Looks like they also were able to take out the Bloom Tender, but Vayburl Elder still remains on battlefield. Still a lot of mana being able to present here.
Yeah, that is a lot of mana.
So how long, as a Derevi player, are you able to stay out? Chromatic Ori! I love this game!
Wow.
I love this game.
I had no idea that Derev even ran that card.
5 mana being tapped here.
Wow.
What is that creature? Why don't I recognize it?
That is a. Oh, it's what is that?
Tashana's
it's not a roaming-
Tidebinder, the new.
Oh,
Tide.
it is. I thought it was Roaming Throne.
Oh, I'm just kidding. Roaming Throne.
Oh, it is Roaming Throne. Okay. So as Roaming Throne enters, what do you... Oh, you name Derevi. Or you name
Or
Bird
Wizard.
or Wizard or something like that.
I assume there's more overlap with Wizard. Wow.
I don't know if that gets you there or not. It all depends on what you'll be able to do here. Karam trigger on the stack from casting the second spell of Mox Opal.
Well, I think
Rolling through. Go ahead.
they missed their first Crumb trigger. The Crumb should have triggered on the Roaming Throne.
Oh, because Chromatic Orrery came into play there. Interesting. But it looks like they're all okay with resolving it.
Okay, so
And
we
that is
are.
time in the round.
So this will be a draw. I do not think that Derevi can close this out unless they surprise me.
Double untap
tough.
trigger, lots of draws. There is certainly an opportunity to be had here, but they gotta get going. Remember, said at the players meeting earlier this morning that we are not taking kindly. They're going into untap here.
Do you want them to know the game is over?
I think Nami just let him know, but I will go check and make sure.
Yep.
Thank you.
We got a
Crazy.
draw. Very long draw, but very good cooperation between the 3 other players in order to prevent Nami from winning. Hell of a game coming up there.
Wow.
Beautiful, beautiful game coming up there. We're going to be very impressed to see who all is going to make it into the finals, as it probably no one in this pod made it, did they?
I don't think so. No, not with 1 point each. One of them needed to win.
Oh man, very very good game. I if I was in the other 3 players position, I would not be disappointed with how this game ended up. It was very head first, competitively driven. It was very good communication throughout all the other players.
Yeah, really good teamwork.
I think at the end of the day, you would rather, if you're the other 3 players and this is your last game of the game, you'd rather draw out a very one-sided game like that than to lose a very fast game in a very fast fashion where you have no control out of it. You know?
Definitely.
And
So from here, beautiful people in the chat, fellow gatherers and grinders, we will be taking one last final break as we get the calculations together. We'll see who our final 4 will be. We'll get that out to the Discord. We'll probably announce it in this stream chat here. And we will prepare for the final 4 of the first ever Arcane Series.
Yeah, this has been great so far.
So don't go anywhere. We will be right back after a quick brief and some calculations.